everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel and some TSW 5 news, because we knew that the MBTA Commuter route Boston South Station to Worcester was coming at the end of this month, but we did have a new article released this afternoon by Dovetail, so I thought we'd have a quick run through that and we'd look at the new screenshots, etc., and just have a quick discussion about it, and you guys can let me know what you think. So we'll have a run through the article, and it says that the first add-on for Train Sim World 5 will take players to the east coast of the USA and the culturally rich city of Boston, Massachusetts. Let's cover the locomotives, the route, and the gameplay elements you can look forward to upon release. And firstly, let's look at the locomotives. And new to Train Sim World is the sleek modern HSP 46 diesel locomotive, which is unique to the MBTA fleet, having first entered service in 2014. The HSP 46 has been increasingly used on services out of South Station, replacing the older F40PH. Its large windows and curved nose not only make for a more aerodynamic journey, but an easier one for engineers, with a spacious cab layout that is more in common visually with some of the German locomotives in Train Sim World than the American ones. This includes an interactive digital display which players can zoom in on and interact with easier as part of Train Sim World 5's core feature update. Powering the unit is a GE GEVO-12 power plant that meets more stringent emissions targets for use in urban environments, as well as a smoother sound when powering up to depart stations. There's also an automatic stop-start feature which temporarily shuts down the engine after 3 minutes with the throttle in idle and reverser in neutral. The engine restarts when those and several other controls are interacted with. Safety systems ATC and ACS ES are both available to use as per other American locomotives, but in game these are not enabled by default. All of this is packaged up in a refreshed livery that was voted for by the public, still displaying the bright purple colours of its commuter rail band. Players will also be able to take up the familiar helm of the F40PH-3C, first seen in the Northeast Corridor Boston Providence route. These iconic locomotives, seen in other F40PH variants across the United States, still work a large proportion of services out of both North and South stations in Boston, including the Framingham Worcester line. The cab may feel more familiar to players of other American Train Sim World routes and locomotives, with ACS ES and ATC display top right of the engineer's position, along with the throttle, reverser and braking handles set up similar to how they are in older freight or switching locomotives. The F40PH's safety systems have been updated for the MBTA Commuter. Here's an important point. The MBTA F40PH-3C diesel locomotive is included in the MBTA Commuter route add-on, so players do not need to own previously released content to access this train. There's also two different styles of coaches that will feature in the consists of trains heading along the Framingham Worcester line. BTC and CTC bi-level cars are new to the route, representing stock seen across many of the MBTA commuter rail lines. Though visually these may be similar to those seen on the San Bernardino line, unlike those they have the cab car available to operate to facilitate return journeys from Worcester or Framingham back to Boston. Like the HSP 46, these cab cars also have an interactive digital display screen, and the passenger areas will have operable door controls for use in Train Sim World 5's new conductor mode. And the conductor mode will see you play the role of an MBTA conductor, checking the passenger tickets, clearing the aisles of baggage and operating door controls to ensure passengers alight and board safely. Also included are the BTC and CTC single level cars previously seen in the Northeast Corridor Boston Providence. These will also have conductor mode functionality in the MBTA Commuter and have had the safety systems updated to match those found in the HSP 46 and bi-level cab car. A selection of services will contain mixed sets of single and bi-level coaches with the majority of trains formed of uniform sets. You will of course be able to create your own consists of locomotive and coaches in the formation designer. Once again, worth noting that both bi-level and single level stock is included in the MBTA Commuter route add-on. Players don't need to own previously released content to access these cars. Taking a look at the actual route itself, Trains World is back in Boston. This northeast New England city plays host to plenty of commuter and long distance railroad traffic from two large stations, Boston North and Boston South. This route add-on features services running out of Boston South. From here, services head off in a variety of directions, serving wider towns and cities in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, as well as heading over the border to Providence, Rhode Island, along the iconic high-speed Northeast Corridor, which is covered in the previously released Boston-Providence route add-on. Let's just take a look at this graphic, shall we, before we move on, which shows the route map. So some of the key features: it is 44 miles from Boston South Station to Worcester, which covers 18 stations. You can see them all named there on the left of the graphic, including Lansdowne for Fenway Park, and it's all local hold services to Framingham and Worcester. So 44 miles is a decent-ish length. Looks like there's going to be plenty to do, but we'll read a little bit more coming up about what the layers are and timetable and the scenarios are for this route. Players that own the previous Boston route will be able to use Trains World 5's new route hopping feature to switch between this and MBTA Commuter at Boston South Station. Framingham Worcester services share this route for a small part of the journey, running alongside I-90 through the cosmopolitan Back Bay area to Back Bay Station before splitting off and heading to the second stop at Lansdowne. It's here where commuter rail baseball fans alight to head to Fenway Park, the USA's oldest baseball stadium, to see the Red Sox do their thing as they have done there since 1912. It's all then west to Worcester, saying goodbye to the city centre, beyond Boston Landing and heading through a collection of smaller settlements and communities at Natwick, Ashland, Westborough and Grafton. Roughly halfway along is the city of Framingham, where some services terminate before heading back to Boston. For a long time, this settlement was the largest town in the state before becoming a city in 2018. At the western end of the line, the impressive Worcester Union Station greets passengers alighting at the second largest city in Massachusetts. Here, engineers climb out of the cab of their locomotives and head down to the cab car of their train to make the home run back to Boston. A small yard also stables passenger trains whilst not in use. Let's take a look through the timetable, the service layers and the gameplay. So like the previous released Boston-Providence route add-on, MBTA Commuter is set in 2019 so that content from both route add-ons can interact with one another. Local hold services will face out of Boston towards Worcester, with the cab cars leading the way for the return journey back to Boston. There are 5 scenarios in MBTA Commuter, which feature an extra revenue service from Boston South to Framingham to pick up fans after a baseball game, a starting up of a service to take passengers to the Boston Marathon. Then there is taking a double up revenue service to Boston before splitting the train in the yard. There is another scenario to run a reverse set, that's where the loco is facing towards Boston South through a snowstorm. There is yard work in Southampton Street Yard that completes the 5 scenarios. There are also the usual set of collectibles to hunt down, which include route maps, warning signs and posters, along with something baseball themed. And Trains World 5 MBTA Commuter Boston to Framingham and Worcester will release of course on the 29th of October across all platforms, and that is priced at $39.99, which is €35.99, or in pounds £29.99. And there will be a preview stream of this if you want to have a look at it on the 22nd of October. DTG will be running that on their channel. So what do you guys think? Are you looking forward to more US stuff? I quite like the fact that this route links in with the other US stuff that we've got, and now we can see the route hopping is really coming into its own already. We're able to stay in one area and jump between a couple of routes. I think this one's got a lot of potential. 44 miles in length. What do you think of the route? Is that long enough, or should it have been longer? I think in the usual way we will cover this once it releases, and this is going to be our first release, as I said right at the beginning, for TSW5 other than the standard routes that we got with the TSW5 launch edition, so it's quite exciting. So make sure you do join me for this when it releases. As an ambassador, I will try and get early access as usual so we can look at it together. But yeah, do let me know what you think. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video and the new pictures that have come as part of the article. So please do give me a thumbs up, do subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care everybody, and bye for now.